What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new video on this channel. And today we're gonna talk a non-spoiler review on Shazam. Shazam is the next in line of this DCEU universe that's been going on now, and it's directed by David F. Sandberg and it's written by Henry Gayton. Overall, it's a really good movie. There are a lot of good things about this film, and of course, no film is without its issues. For the most part, this was really spot on, and I dare say it's probably one of the betters of all of the DC movies that are out so far. So let's break this down by, like, I don't know, 3 segments. Let's talk about the plot, let's talk about the characters, and let's just talk about the overall look of the movie, you know, CGI and all that stuff. So plot-wise, this movie is heavily based off of the New 52. So if you've read that series, you pretty much know a good amount of this movie, or at least like kind of the general connection to the comics with this movie. The movie itself, definitely there was some sort of pacing problem. This movie at times was really fast going and really funny and just really smart with their, you know, the jokes and everything like that. And at other times, it kind of just felt like it dragged on for a bit. The story does pay a lot of homage to, you know, the regular Shazam, about, you know, Billy Batson getting his powers and everything. I'm not, again, this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not really going to talk much about the plot, but I will say that there are a lot of cool scenes in this movie that, you know, heavily refer back to the New 52, and, you know, there's even like a big kind of, I guess you would consider it a twist towards the end of the movie that also is very New 52. So another big thing about the plot of this movie is, you know, this movie takes place, I mean, it's now the most recent of all the DC movies, and it actually shows that because in this world that they've created, we can very much see that Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, they all exist in this movie. You know, they're all well-known superheroes now, and you know, it's heavily seen especially by Freddy, who is played by Jack Dylan Grazer in the film. He's got a replica Batarang. He's got an authentic bullet that was bounced off of Superman's chest. And especially him, he wears a lot of t-shirts that, you know, represent Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. You know, so definitely this world is already full of superheroes. And so it's interesting to get this take of a world that's filled with superheroes and a new superhero coming in. This is also referenced by the people, because not only do they already recognize the superhero, a lot of the times in the movie when, you know, something's going on or there's a problem that Shazam needs to fix, everybody goes, hey look, there's a superhero, as if already knowing that there's somebody who can save them, which definitely adds to this dynamic about who Shazam, you know, has to be in, like the role he has to fit in now that he's been, you know, granted these powers. So now let's move on to characters, and I want to say that this film had a lot of really great characters. I think it's one of my favorite character-wise because there's so much development in this film that it's remarkable to see just a broader range of superhero characters, from, you know, Billy Batson and his runaway family to, you know, the superhero life and all the characters to the villain and everything like that. And they all make for really interesting characters. I definitely didn't feel like, oh, this character wasn't needed or this character wasn't needed. I mean, first up, let's talk about Billy Batson himself. Asher Angel, who plays Billy Batson in this movie, I think did a remarkable job at playing, you know, this kind of broken kid who's just on the search looking for something in his life and just doesn't really fit in with the world. You know, he's on a mission and definitely doesn't really, he gives off this kind of like aura that he just doesn't care about anything else, doesn't want another family, because he's on a mission searching for something in this movie that I don't want to spoil. I think he did a really good job at capturing that. And even once he gets powers, there's this kind of almost childish, you know, feel to him that now he has, you know, this certain ability that can, you know, take him to, you know, newfound places. If we're going to talk about Billy Batson, we also have to talk about Captain Marvel, or Shazam, played by Zachary Levi, who I think did an outstanding job portraying the superhero. I think he did, you know, just such, you know, as I mentioned, where Billy Batson has this kind of childish kind of, you know, innocence about him. I think Zachary Levi portrays that really well while he's in Shazam form. You know, I could feel Zachary Levi was this kid trapped inside of this superhero's body who now has all these responsibilities to people, you know, saving the world, saving people in danger and stuff like that. But it's also this like, how can I take advantage of these powers? And just, you know, it's really stupid stuff that a kid would do if he had these superpowers. And I think both of them together did an excellent job at portraying Shazam. Like I said before, Billy Batson also has, you know, his runaway family, or this family made up of, you know, other orphans who just couldn't find homes and stuff like that. And I thought they did an excellent job too. Their dynamic at just so many different personalities living in one home made it so that, you know, when Billy is at home, it doesn't feel common, you know, family, because each one has their own little quirk and detail that just kind of, you know, brings them up and really adds to the whole like interaction with Billy. And of course, we can't talk about a superhero movie without talking about the villain. And the villain here, who is portrayed by Mark Strong, did such an amazing job. Mark Strong plays Dr. Sivana. We meet him at the very beginning of the film, where we get kind of like the sense of what his character is, and he's just this boy who's just been belittled his entire life by his family, by literally fate itself. And, you know, obviously this is built into him. So over the years, when he's finally able to acquire powers, which in this movie is the 7 deadly sins, you know, we get to see just how vengeful and how spiteful a man who's been pretty much pushed around, dragged through the ground, you know, all that anger, what does that, you know, entail into his character? And it definitely paid off really well, because you can feel the anger that he plays as Dr. Sivana, and just all this just really messed up stuff. I think he did a really good job. And if we're talking about, you know, like the comparison or how they bounced off of each other between Shazam and Dr. Sivana, I think it did an amazing job, because, you know, Shazam is just this like little light of sunshine that just has you cracking up. And Dr. Sivana is this, you know, very serious, down to business, I have to do this because it's like my fate kind of thing. So when they clash together, it's just a really good combination of, you know, good and evil, and the battle of who is going to prevail. Let's talk about how this movie looks overall, because, you know, it's not a superhero movie without CGI. I think this movie did a really good job. There wasn't like a scene that for me felt out of place. Like, for example, in Captain Marvel, there were a few scenes that I feel like were just kind of rushed, or maybe they didn't put the polish enough on, that I could notice when it was CGI. And in Shazam, that is not the case in most of the movie. There are some parts where, you know, obviously, you know, they have Zachary Levi flying through the air, where it's like, okay, I can kind of tell it's CG, but for the most part, I thought it was really well done. And even the set pieces look great, because, you know, it's amazing all the stuff that they built, especially the temple at the very beginning of the movie. You know, I won't say much about it, but the intricate detail that's built into that temple scene, so cool. It was really, I don't know, it felt genuine, it felt natural. The art style and everything about this film, you know, it really works, and I think it's one of the very stronger films that the DCEU has to offer. But, you know, obviously this is just a, you know, kind of in the moment review. If you want a full in-depth review, that's going to be up on our website. That's going to be it for this video. As always, you guys can check us out on social media at TLEV Media. Of course, check out our website for the longer in-depth review. I've been your boy Josue. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one.